I am Rukuzo Vengesa. Join me this evening in studio. We have Simba Chiminya as well as Caps United Chief Scout David Sengu. They will be the pundits for the evening. And of course, it is the Monday review show looking back on everything that went on this past weekend. Here's what you can expect on tonight's edition of the show. Zimbabwe's Rugby Sevens Cheetahs failed to reach the 2024 Paris Olympics. What went wrong at Harare Sports Club during the Africa Men's Sevens tournament? Highlanders returned to winning ways in the Castle Premier Soccer League, but they remain a point behind leaders Ngezi Platinum Stars. We review the local football weekend, which also saw Genesis Mangombe tasting defeat for the first time as Dynamo's interim head coach. And Manchester United lurch from crisis to crisis in the English Premier League. Is there any way to explain the Red Devils' problems, and can they be fixed in time to make this season a success? Your views and comments always welcome on our WhatsApp platform. Some of the messages here already. Captain Gomo Pacentinary there saying welcome our daily sports zone. Thank you very much for listening. And then Blafeja Panoton always very quick off the mark. He's saying hi sports team Drigona race Real Local League Rawapa Katipe Ngezi Platinum Manika Diamonds Dimbare Ne Highlanders. So you're making it a 4-horse race. So certainly I'll let you know exactly how things stand right now in terms of the standings at the top of Zimbabwe's top flight league. All of your messages, please send them through. We'll try and read a lot of them before we head out of the studio. That is, of course, going to be on our WhatsApp number 0772 162 651 772 162 651.
Today's local news on the Daily Sports Zone.
Yes, indeed, it is the Daily Sports Zone right here on Star FM, proudly brought to you by Copy Spare Parts Distributors Private Limited. We're a supplier of genuine motor vehicle parts and accessories. We also supply genuine Yutong bus spare parts at our Granite Side branch. We now have a total of 14 branches nationwide and still counting. Kwese Kwamuri at Tirukuya Ikoko. So yes, it's finally here. The new Simon Mazorodze branch is now open, located at the Chicken Inn complex near Zindoga. So come along for opening specials. You stand a chance to walk away with something very special. Those of you in Waterfalls, Art Benny Road and surrounding areas, this is your branch. Visit us today. Our Mashingo branch also open right now, located at number 11 Hofmeyer Street at Tatenda Complex, right next to Dr. Makurira's clinic. This is one of our newest branches. Come along and support it, all of you who are in Mashingo and surrounding areas. Copy Spares, making the whole nation drive. Let's start off though with some Rugby Sevens news from the weekend. Zimbabwe finished in a very disappointing 4th place at the 2023 Rugby Africa Men's Sevens tournament after being stunned by Uganda in the bronze medal match yesterday. Zimbabwe had done well to recover from a poor start on Saturday, only managing a draw against lowly Burkina Faso before stringing together 3 straight wins to reach the semi-finals. That is where it all went wrong, however, as first Kenya ruthlessly punished the Cheetahs' errors in their passing and defense to eventually crush the hosts 35-10, and then a limp display against Uganda cost them a place in the global repechage tournament, which would have provided a final shot at Olympic qualification. So yes, indeed, it was a very big disappointment for all of us who were in attendance at Harare Sports Club. A lot of us were expecting Zimbabwe to at least finish in 3rd and thereby take one of those repechage spots, but a lot of things went wrong. I think even before the tournament started, the absences of key players like Shingika Chere as well as Edward Sigalke, very big players for the Cheetahs, especially when it comes to finishing. The aspect of actually scoring tries, those two are very important to the style of play that our head coach Ricky Chirengende wanted to implement, and they unfortunately suffered very serious injuries that kept them out of the tournament from the very start. And then during the tournament, another key player, Tapua Mafura, who plays for the Cheetahs actually in South Africa, they're a very big rugby franchise. He suffered food poisoning, and apparently that food poisoning also went through some of the squad. So a lot of the players were actually playing yesterday and the second day were actually not at 100% fitness because they were actually suffering from potential food poisoning, and that took out Mafura completely. He was vital for us managing to revive our campaign on Saturday. We were missing him on Sunday, and that certainly did not help, particularly in that game against Kenya in the semi-final. And then we saw this as well on Saturday, errant passing and decision making. A lot of passes, a lot of high risk passes, trying to do skip passes crosses over taller players, a lot of, shall we say, taking the ball into contact when you could have swung it wide. All of that was some poor decision making. All of that ended up coming back to bite us against Kenya. Kenya, as you know, regularly play in the World Rugby 7 Series against the very best in the world, your Fijis, your Australias, your New Zealand. You cannot give them free points by making mistakes, and we certainly paid the price in their semi-final in particular. And as I said there, you know what, sometimes you have to put your hand up and say the Kenyans were much better. Uganda, though, on Saturday we thrashed them 35-5, and then we managed to lose 24-12. You cannot have such a big difference in less than 24 hours, and I think that was a very, very big disappointment.
Yeah, indeed, because it was a big disappointment, because it shows about the mentality, because you can't win on a Saturday and then on a Sunday you have that disappointing defeat to them. It shows that we were not really prepared for that mentally, and I don't know how it happened, you know, the suspected food poisoning, because at this stage, you know, we should have everything in order. Even what the players are going to eat, we should always inspect what they're going to eat, and it seems that we were not really 100% prepared for this. And also the mistakes that we considered against Kenya. You know, when you are playing a team like Kenya, you should be well prepared, and those mistakes are uncalled for. But again, you know, especially the match against Uganda, it's a match that we should not have lost.
I completely agree with you. The Uganda one, I think, is the one which is pretty much inexcusable. But as I said, maybe that food poisoning, as well as the aspect of maybe the mental side, I think maybe the thrashing at the hands of Kenya certainly worked against us. Maybe the boys could not really, shall we say, recover mentally from that, and they went into that bronze medal match on a bit of a downer. Anyway, Kenya shocked the favourite South Africa in the final 17-12 to book the sole automatic qualification spot to Paris. South Africa and Uganda will have to take the scenic route towards qualification via the global repechage. I spoke to Kenyan co-captains Tony Omondi and Vincent Onyala after they lifted the trophy, and their joy was clear to see and hear.
I mean, look at our faces. What can I say? But I have qualified. Thank you. What is in 2024? It's not a matter of previous, it's a matter of now. We are rebuilding, as you've seen, you've known, we were relegated last season. So it's a new era, we are trying to rebuild, see how new systems will be put into place, and make sure that we go back to our glory days. Playing, it's such a cruel, should I say a cruel atmosphere when we're playing against the hosts, but we managed to beat them and get into the finals. That's a plus. We really struggled during the first day with the weather, but all in all, we give glory and thanks to God.
So those were the Kenyan co-captains there, of course, talking to me just after they managed to lift the trophy. Very big congratulations to Kenya. They will be in Paris. South Africa and Uganda will wait and see how they will do at the global repechage tournament.
This is the Daily Sports Zone. Star FM, your first choice for sport.
All right, let's talk local football now. In the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League this weekend, Ngezi Platinum Stars remain in control of the title race at the end of match week 23. The Mondoro-based outfit thrashing Greenfield 3-0 at Baobab Stadium on Saturday to retain top spot in the table. Informed captain Kadir Amini, Delik Murimba and Bruno Mtigo on the score sheet. Ngezi head coach Teksho Chiragwi is looking beyond just this season's title race.
We are building the team that is going to compete for a longer period. That's what matters most. We are not worried about being on top of the league. That's not important. What is important is to make the brand of Ngezi Platinum so that you can have the dominance for a longer period in every competition that we play. I think that's what is important now. It's one of the games that are important to us to get maximum points so that you can edge in what you have. But we have been winning for the past games that we are playing, so there's nothing much to celebrate, but rather than to enjoy and shift our focus to the next game that we're going to play.
Tekesho Chiragwi there, Ngezi Platinum Stars head coach David. No problems there for Ngezi. The leaders showing exactly why they're leading the title race. Greenfield not providing too much of a challenge.
Yeah, the most important thing I think is for them, especially whenever they play per home, they always score goals, and kept another clean sheet as well, which is very, very important. And if you look at their strike force, I think they've been sharing goals amongst all the players that are playing up front. But for Kadi, I think with his experience, he has led Ngezi Platinum Stars very well. Imagine he's the most senior player in the end. He's also the captain. So yeah, with Tekesho Chiragwi, I think he's got so much trust and faith in Kadi and Kadi's delivery. And he has been hogged by so many injuries of late. At one time he was even substituted even first half when he went to play for the national team, and people thought maybe his career is over. But look at him now; he's been an inspirational captain for Ngezi Platinum Stars. So yeah, for me, I think they're in the driving seat. So it's for Highlanders, Manica Dynamos, FC Platinum chicken in, to keep on putting pressure on Ngezi Platinum Stars, and I think that's the thing that is driving Ngezi Platinum Stars all the way. If they win the championship, I think it's the teams that are behind them that are pushing them to do much better and build a brand, like what Coach Chiragwi is saying, that he wants to build a team that can compete for longer periods, like what FC Platinum has done for the past 4 or 5 years. They've built a team that has been competing. So obviously Chiragwi wants to do that as well, and yeah, I think he's in the right direction.
Meanwhile, Highlanders are now on their coattails. Bosso finally remembering how to win, beating Yada by 2-0 at Barberfield. Bungeni Ndlovu and Washington Navaya getting their season back on track after the negativity of the last month that saw them lose 3 matches in a row. That's, of course, if you include that game against Dynamos that was abandoned last week. Simba, good news for Bosso fans at long last. Can you tell us exactly how they managed to get on the winning straight, or is it just a case of Yada, shall we say, not providing them with the stiffest resistance?
But there are 2 things there that you have to look at, Rukuza. It's also the fact that they probably have done their homework, and 2, you need a team like Yada, when you are in a crisis like they had, because they were facing 3 teams that were in the running for the title. So the fixtures were tough, and it just had a coincidence that it was a time that they also went through a bad patch. But when you have a team that is kind of less competitive as the others, look at where Yada are in as far as the Lockstonies are concerned. They're in relegation zone. So for Highlanders, they just did their business, and they are now back in contention, just a point behind Ngezi Platinum Stars. And for them, again, I think it's about remaining focused towards what you want to achieve. The next game will be away to Wange, another team that is also not really consistent. So I think now the fixtures will be favoring them, and they will just do their business. What was most important for them was how they were going to rise from what happened in the last 3 fixtures against FC Platinum, Chicken Inn and Dynamos.
It will also be interesting to see if Bosso fans start going back to Emma Gumeni. Yesterday's game against Yada was very, very obvious that a lot of fans stayed away. Not too sure exactly for what reason. Was it maybe they were fearing more violent scenes, or they were completely unhappy with the performances being served up by their favorite players? Not too full was Barberfield yesterday. Quite surprising to see that. Then in 3rd place we have Manica Diamonds. They remain in touching distance, 3 points off the top as they dismissed ZPC Kariba by 2-0. Now Dynamo's 6th match unbeaten run that had some observers adding them to the title race ended on Saturday.
With a cross, it's inviting! Chance for Chiefs! Ready to go! 40 minutes, Chirinda, and he scores for Chiefs!
Yes, indeed, that is the legendary voice of Spencer Banda. He was the commentator on our sister television network, ZTN, providing commentary for that game between Bulawayo Chiefs and Dynamos. And yes, as I said, Dynamos' 6th match unbeaten run coming to an end. Another shock loss to Bulawayo Chiefs, this time by 2-1. Malvin Kolo and Obro Chirinda on the score sheet there. So Chiefs have now emerged as Dimbare's bogey side this season. Let's not forget they won 3-2 in Harare back in April. The Glamour Boys are now down in 6th, 9 points behind Zambezi. But of course, 3 more points are on their way after that abandoned Highlanders game. Simba, you are watching this game very closely. Talk to me exactly how Bulawayo Chiefs once again upset the apple cart by getting past Dimbare.
I think they came in with a game plan. They really knew what they wanted in the game, and they took their chances, and they didn't give Dynamos much space like what Dynamos was given the game against Highlanders. And also, the second goal that they scored, actually the first goal, you'd find that the keeper didn't do well with the cross, and Marvin Nkolo was there to finish it off. And the second goal was because of the poor marking by the central defense, and it was just like what happened in the reverse fixture when Bulawayo Chiefs scored, Dynamos equalized, but then again they went on to score when Dynamos were still celebrating. So for me, it was about Bulawayo Chiefs having the confidence that we will beat Dynamos, and also coming up with a good game plan, better than Dynamos.
And then finally, let's talk about Caps United. They continue to crawl towards the end of the season. Another draw against Chickenin, a 1-1 stalemate. David, are you satisfied with the fact that you managed to recover from a goal deficit to get the point there? Chickenin, of course, never an easy opponent.
Yeah, it was a good point, Rukuzo, that we can take and build on going into the Harare Derby. And it was a tale of two halves. Chickenin dominated first half, and they could have scored, first half as many goals as they can, but with Tondre Matiawunga in goals, he really did well, and as the club captain, I think he's done well in between the posts when he's called upon to. And then you look at Caps United second half. We also had our chances second half, and Chicken has to thank Donovan Bernard as well. So both goalkeepers, I think they had a very good game yesterday, and it was the strikers from both sides that took turns to miss chances. William Anondo as well, he's got his chances, but it was a morale booster, especially to the Caps United strikers. It's been long without finding the net, and of course we got a goal from our centre half, Lincoln Mangaira, straight from a corner kick, and it was a very good game, to be honest, and the boys played really good. Hopefully we can build on that going into the Harare Derby.
Let's read some of your messages here on the WhatsApp platform. Anzi David, you need to have a word with the Caps goalie. That goal for Chickenin was illegal for any goalie to concede. Marshmallow Greencroft. I'll certainly pass on that message to David. And Anzi, as Caps United fans, but yesterday we should have won Jedu. Manondo wasn't clinical. It's part of football though. As of now, Jedu, so that we bring back our glory days as Cup Kings, the Super Green. Thank you for that message. Anzi, high sports team and Brighton from Bulawayo in Popoma. I watched the game between my team and Dimbari. We lost the game, and I think our defense this time was the culprit, Tamun Vula. I think you're saying my team is Dimbari. We lost the game. Our defense this time around was the culprit. Tamun Vula was supposed to communicate with his defense each time. I blame him for both of the goals which Chiefs scored. Tough luck, because in a match of football you win some and you lose some. And you say Famba Chazunguza. Then we the high sports team. Very disappointed with the Dynamos defeat, but got consoled by Manchester City Chingorivo in Timire Park there in Rua. Thank you for listening. And then Anzi, let's hope it's just a minor slip from Dimbare and we will return to winning ways in the next game. I still tip them to win the league. Welcome sports team Dara Metso Manguruva in Norton. Thank you for listening. Finally, of course, closing off this Castle Premier Soccer League talk, your standings. We have Mbezi Platinum Stars on top with 45 points. Highlanders in second with 44. Manika Diamonds are in third, 42 points. In fourth, we have Chickenin with 37, just ahead of SC Platinum, the champions, also on 37. But of course, they have the inferior goal difference.
This is football. Football!
I think we have a winner. News. The news is our life. Did you hear what the weatherman said?
Ready for it's the complete radio sports show. The Daily Sports Zone is on right now.
This is the Daily Sports Zone right here on Star FM, your first choice for sport, brought to you by Copy Spares. At Copy Spares, our product range includes suspension components, service kits, engine components, lubricants, timing components, brake and clutch components, body parts and accessories. So there's some good news for all civil servants around the country. Come along for credit facilities for all your purchases. Visit any branch in Zimbabwe today. You can also contact us on our website. That's www.copyspares.co.zw. Our Facebook page is Copy Spare Parts Distributors. Twitter, or now it's called X, is @SparesCopy. LinkedIn is Copy Spare Parts Distributors, and TikTok we can be found at Copy Spares. Hurry now to Copy Spares and experience our world-class service at affordable prices. Copy Spares, making the whole nation drive.
This is World Sport on the Daily Sports Zone.
So the English Premier League weekend delivered more goals, talking points, plenty of late drama, and more headaches for Manchester United fans.
Richarlison, Kulusevski with him. Kulusevski! Spurs win! Everton quick to close down, but they've not picked up Trossard! An impact off the bench from the Belgian. Drives into the area, he's got so many to pick out. Pedro's there! Perfection from Pedro! The Albion lead 3-0 at Old Trafford.
This weekend's Premier League commentary courtesy of the club's various YouTube pages. Thank you very much for that. So, of course, Manchester United on the end of a heavy and deserved 3-1 defeat to Brighton at Old Trafford on Saturday. After weathering an early wave of pressure, the Seagulls easily played around the home side and netted well-worked goals to add more pressure on Erik ten Hag's shoulders. It's the first time United have lost 3 times in its first 5 league games of a Premier League season. David, Erik ten Hag, under pressure for you? Do you think his job is under any threat considering the success he had last season? Because it looks like he's not getting a tune out of Manchester United, and a lot of these players are the ones he asked for and managed to bring in.
He has always been under pressure because at the moment he accepted the job to coach Manchester United, because from the time that Alex Ferguson left Manchester United, you could see the decline of the club. Look at the kind of players that they're buying and the monies that they're paying, to different clubs where they're acquiring the players. Malacia, I don't think he's a quality player that Manchester United deserved. You look at Anthony, his contribution ever since he joined from Ajax is still questionable. And also the front line that United has at the moment. Rashford, look at Jadon Sancho, look at Højlund. Of course, he started over the weekend, and the fans even bought Erik ten Hag because they substituted. I thought maybe United they need a new crop of players. Rekuti, you can go and buy at a lesser money than the monies that they are paying. We all know that United has got money here, but the players that they are buying, I don't think they bring in quality needed for Manchester United to compete, especially in the Champions League and even in their own league in the EPL.
And then Arsenal edged past Everton by a goal to 0 yesterday through Leandro Trossard's winner, while Spurs scored twice deep into stoppage time to come from behind and beat Sheffield United 2-1. The two North London sides meet next week Sunday. Simba, very briefly, they're level on 13 points, unbeaten so far this season. The match at the Emirates Stadium, who's going into it the more likely to win? Because both teams, if you ask me, are looking fairly good.
I think the team that will rise on that particular day is going to win because the start has not been good for them. So I think the character on that particular day is going to determine who is going to win.
You have no worries at all about Spurs going to the Emirates Stadium because they usually struggle to get a result there. You think Arsenal will be able to lose that?
Yeah, but look, after winning this game on the death against Everton, maybe they can just carry with that form. But looking at both teams, they haven't been really convincing.
We'll wait and see exactly what happens on Sunday. Very big game, of course. Arsenal and Tottenham, always the case. Closing off this edition of the Daily Sports Zone with Rugby World Cup news. Very briefly, we saw New Zealand thrashing Namibia by 71 points to 3 on Friday night. Co-favorites Ireland as well, also a very easy win against Tonga, 59 to 16. And then South Africa absolutely hammering Romania 76 to nothing. Ireland and South Africa will play in a very, very big match on Sunday. That, of course, will determine the winner of Pool B. And then England just managing to get past Japan 34 to 12. It looks like a big scoreline, but it was actually a very big battle for England. And then Fiji somehow shocking Australia 22 to 15. That is Fiji's first win against the Wallabies in 69 years. And that sets up a huge clash for Australia against Wales. That's it for today's edition of the Daily Sports Zone. Big thanks to Simba Chiminya as well as David Sengu for being my pundits. We'll be back again tomorrow evening, 6:05 down to 6:30. I leave you in the hands now of Linda Muriro. It is Muriro on Monday. Please tune in to that. We'll be back again tomorrow right here on the Daily Sports Zone, Star FM, your first choice for sports.
You've been listening to the Daily Sports Zone.
Star FM, sounding good all the time.